Hi, that was my version of Them Changes by Buddy Miles, I guess, wrote it. I'm mostly familiar with it from the Band of Gypsies album with Jimi Hendrix and Billy Cox. It's a really, really great double album, and I'd like to show that to you today. I'm doing things a little different today. I'm tuned E, A, D, which is like the bottom 3 strings of a 6-string guitar. I don't do this a lot because I actually like the 1-5-1 tuning, and this tuning would be called 1-4-7. But this particular song, you'll see in a minute, really suits this tuning. Plus, I wanted to illustrate moving around the scales for jamming when you have a song that's either in a different tuning or is played a different way. This song has a lick in it that's definitely using the major pentatonic, but the feel for the song is minor pentatonic. So I'd like to explain how you can make that work. First of all, show you how to play the song. Start over here on the 2nd fret, hit it twice, go up a minor 3rd. Minor 3rd's 3 frets. Back to the 2nd fret and pull off. And then the 3rd fret on the middle string. And then the middle string twice. You do exactly the same thing on the middle string, 2nd fret. Then I go to the 5th, or you can go to the open. Twice on the 2nd fret, open string high, 2nd fret, pull off to open, 3 on the low, 0, 0. So you just want to practice that and get good at that. And you can do it either way, with this note or the open string. Nothing wrong with either way. And then it goes to this chord, which I am using a 7th chord here. This is the root, E. This is the 3rd. This is the 7th. I think on the record it's a 9th. And I'm actually doing more of the Buddy Miles version than the Jimi Hendrix version, because he throws in some great licks and stuff at the beginning, but we would be here for a while. Then it does this lick here. So that's 2, hammer, 4 on the middle string, 2 on the high string, hammer 4, pull off, so like that. It's a double lick, so the second part is the same thing with a variation. You just hit it twice, so it sounds like this. And you might know that these notes here, played that way, are in the major pentatonic. Ooh. Just hold that thought back there for a minute. Make sure we got this. Okay, now to jam along with it, it is basically for jamming a minor pentatonic song. And your minor pentatonic pattern would, normally in 1-5-1 tuning, would look like this. I'm not going to play it, but it would look like 3-0, 3-0, 3-0, that sort of thing, right? So what we're going to do is everything stays the same on the E string, which would be 0, 3, 5, 7, 10, 12. Now, the high string is tuned down 2 frets. So this first note, the root, is the 2nd fret. Right, so if you go up that minor 3rd, so down here you went, up here you go here. There'll be a chart posted if it isn't up already. Right, and then 7, 9, 12, 14. And hopefully you can get up this high. That'll become important in a minute. So it's the same thing on the 2nd string, because we've tuned it down a whole step, which is 2 frets. We start on the 2nd for our pentatonic scale. 3rd, as usual. And this one is the same as the second here. And this is the only thing that varies. You go up a minor third. And then here. Okay, so I'll have that written out for you, and I'd like to point out right away that hopefully you'll see some patterns. In position 1, you have that. It's very cool. Position 2, and I'm not going by my finger position, because actually I'm playing in position 2 because my first finger's on the 2nd fret. I'm going by the position of the scale. Maybe call it box 1, I guess, for our purposes today. And then here's the next one. And here's the next one. The next one is the only one with a bit of a variation. You see that? That's 9/7, 10/7, and then 10, 7/5. And of course you can add in the blue note to make it a blues scale. That would be this note here, and this note here, and this note here, whoops, and this note here, and a couple other places. I left it out for clarity, but you can use that as a passing note, absolutely. So basically that's where things are at. So if you're going to jam with it, you can use that. And there's one more level you can go, but first of all, I'll just play a little loop here I made. So what I'm doing there is I just did a couple licks, and I didn't do them down here, did them up here, so that they would stay out of the way of the major pentatonic here. I know my guitar's off, hopefully you can still hear it. Right? So these notes here, this translates, this would be 0 would be the 12th, 2 would be the 14th. So these notes here would be 14, 16. So obviously they're in the song. So why can't we use them? Well, we can. And there's actually, adding those two notes changes this scale, the name of the scale, because you're using both the major and the minor pentatonic, and you can just look at it like that. If you want to go a little further, it's actually called the Dorian mode, which is just another name, mode, Latin for scale. But that's what the Dorian mode is. You'll find out right away that the Dorian mode is fantastic for like 80s rock especially. And if you add the blue note in, the flat 5, it's called Dorian add 5 scale. Fancy names. Okay, you can forget all that now and just realize that because you've used these notes in this song, of course you can add them to the scale. Whether you know what it's called or not doesn't make any difference. And so I'll try to demonstrate that. Put my looper back on. So I hope I wasn't too messy there. Just trying to give you an example of doodling along with it and all the options that you have. So the takeaway is, if you're in a different tuning, Just figure out what you've tuned different and move the scale that you already know that distance to make up the difference. And if you have a lick in the song that uses notes that aren't in the scale normally, chances are you can add them to the scale and it will sound cool. Have a great day.